shit real quick. What is this? What is this old boomer saying, huh?
The Joe Rogan experience.
I found, I don't know if you agree with this, there were a ton of kids along the way growing up as I was building my business that would say,
I also saw
I'm not into
and
this.
Ashes
I'm not
creation.
into that. Kind of like you
Let's give
described
it a chance,
yourself.
guys. Let's give Ashes a
And they
chance.
don't do anything because they're looking for that thing. And I would argue, do something. Do fucking something until you find that thing.
Yeah, I've never been that kid though. I've always been into things. I always was into art, or I was into something. I always found things that I was interested in. Just none of them seemed like they were normal.
Joe Rogan is
things.
such a genius. You see these do things on his headphones? That makes sure he doesn't get gamer head. You see my gamer head? I have a huge welly here. You see that? My head is like whoosh. I have gamer head right here. When I shave my head, you legit see a deformation from my headsets. And he has this thing that doesn't deform it. Fucking genius.
People wanted to do for a living, like the path, like a career path. But I think that there's a lot of people that don't have any. There's no one. They're not modeling their life after someone that they see that they admire. Someone that's successful, someone that is doing something that they enjoy and love. Sometimes kids have to see that. Right. And if their parents are living a bullshit life and their neighbors are living a bullshit life and most of their family lives a bullshit life, they just fucking lay around, you know, and then they seek refuge in drugs or video games or something that stimulates them. And video games are a real problem. They're a real problem. You know why? Because they're fucking fun.
Addictive.
And you don't, I have a real problem with them. And you do them, and they're real exciting, but you don't get anywhere.
Right.
It's like you could do like martial arts, right? You could learn jujitsu. You get obsessed by jujitsu, and then 3 years later, you're like an elite jujitsu athlete. You're entering in competitions. You're a purple belt.
You're moving up.
Yeah, you're doing.
Well, I would argue with him already, but in the deeper sense, he's right. Thank you, Zephron. In a deeper sense, he's right so far. There's a lot of people on this planet that are just fucking up their lives by being addicted to video games. But obviously, there's careers in video games. You can learn stuff from video games. They can educate you and stuff. But so far, it's not that.
You're thinking like, I might be able to open my own school one day.
You got confidence.
Yeah, if I have 100 students and those 100 students are paying me X amount of dollars per month, I can make a living. Holy shit, I can have this would be amazing. And then you see your jiu-jitsu school and
Also, yeah, it's a form of entertainment. I mean, he's a boomer, man. He's an old man. What the fuck are you gonna expect? But I get that boomers think of video games that way because they didn't grow up with this. So as we did, that video games can make you very lazy, which is true, dude. Let's be honest. If I wouldn't have made the jump to be a streamer, video games would have killed my fucking life. Legit. I was so addicted to video games, mostly Dota 2, that I didn't go to university and I didn't finish my degree. So I'm a perfect example of what he's saying. Like, for example, I went too far in video games and it almost fucked me up.
Your jiu-jitsu instructor has all these students and drives a Mercedes and he's got a nice family and like, that's the future. This way you're doing something exciting and fun and you don't, or you could just be playing fucking video games. 3 years later, you could be that same
Well, your son could play video games and win the Fortnite World Cup for fucking $2 million.
kid just playing
That's not a good
video
argument,
games,
but he's a
waiting for the
boomer. He doesn't
next
fucking know.
whatever the fuck game is, next Xbox game to come out, and you're gonna waste your time.
You have children. I have children, and it's a big battle in the house.
Yes.
And my kids, I don't know if you're going through this, but my kids are now saying, "Well, Dad, this guy made all this money with this video game. That he's
That's
a man."
real too. That's
right?
real too now.
So like that's 1 in a billion, kid. Like,
I don't know if it's 1 in a billion, but look, I heard the same argument about comedy.
I'm 1 in a billion. Oh! Thank you, weird man that I don't know.
My parents were like, do you know how few people make it as a comedian? I was like, okay. Does anybody make it? Somebody makes it, right? They figure out how to do it. They make a living. I'm going to do that. Just stop. Like, I know what I'm doing. I was real lucky that my parents were not around very much, so I didn't get much advice. So I figured it out myself. So there was no one telling me I couldn't do it.
Got it.
So
green fields.
I was like, I'm going to find my way through this. And since no one's telling me it's...
His argument doesn't make sense. Not everyone who does MMA will be a teacher or make money from that. And yeah,
impossible. No one's telling me I can't.
Yeah,
occasionally I would hear someone say, what are the odds? I'm like, listen to this fucking loser. That's my thought, was always like, that guy's a loser. Like, if you think like that, you're a loser.
I agree with him fully
but
on that shit.
There are kids that make a lot of fucking money playing video games. But the thing is, like, you have to be adaptable. You have to be able to play multiple video games, because the one video game that you get really good at, what are the odds that's going to be around 5 years from now?
Right.
You know, like, what's the big one now? Like Fortnite? Is that? Do they make
Fortnite.
money off of that?
Okay, boomer.
Yeah. And then there's
Rogan's
Call
not
of
the main
Duty.
contender. I don't
They
think you
make
should
money
say
off
that. I
that.
think Joe Rogan's
What's
very
the big
intelligent.
money? StarCraft used to be the big one, right?
That.
I
League
love
of
Joe Rogan, man. I'm a
Legends,
big fan of that guy, man.
Counter-Strike.
Listen to him all the time.
Counter-Strike is it's still the Half-Life mod.
Yeah, variations of it.
Okay, he's legit a
basically the
fucking
same
boomer. But my God,
don't
the
make-
guy's fucking. He got $100 million to Spotify. Yeah, he didn't diss it that much. He just sees it in a different light. He sees video games in a light of lazy people that don't get anywhere. Yeah, that wasn't very well argued by him. Someone like us could argue with him about that, but I mean, what does it matter?